Christmas Day might have come and gone, but it's still the season to be jolly. Eat some good food, socialize with family and friends, and enjoy the cool Christmas breeze. Hello and welcome to this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. On the lineup today, highlights from the artistic celebration that paid tribute to the late icon Nelson Mandela. We'll also give you a refresher course on the rules of the road, plus the do's and don'ts of Christmas parties. Details after these messages.
Strong families are important to the development of our society, and the National Family Planning Board wants you to be healthy and achieve your goals. Make the right reproductive health choices. Help eradicate poverty, improve maternal health, and reduce child death by avoiding unintended pregnancies. Waiting until you're financially, physically, and emotionally mature to become a mother. And protecting against diseases such as HIV and AIDS. Exercise your right to plan stable families for the future, being mindful that children need nurturing environments for proper growth and development. Consider your health, the timing, spacing, and number of children as you plan. Be empowered. Contact the National Family Planning Board at 5 Sylvan Avenue, Kingston 5, P.O. Box 287. Telephone 968-1627 or visit them online at www.jnfpb.com.
Good day, I'm Samantha Allen, and this is your GIS News for Friday, December 27. As Jamaicans celebrated Christmas Day and Boxing Day, the nation's leaders called for reflection and action. In his Christmas Day message, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen appealed for persons to awaken their charitable spirit and help the less fortunate.
It is in the midst of these unhappy situations, we have the opportunity to give the gift of love, to shine a light in the darkness of despair, to share with others who are in need, to comfort those who are sad or lonely, and to lend a helping hand wherever possible.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller called on Jamaicans to draw inspiration from the Christmas message of peace, love, and hope for mankind.
If we let the seeds of its inspiration take root and bloom in our families and communities throughout the year, we will succeed in making our land calm, peaceful, and bright.
And for his part, Leader of the Opposition Andrew Holness reminded Jamaicans of the commitment to protecting our children even while we celebrate.
Let us ensure that they are properly guided and educated, particularly at the early childhood and primary levels of our education system. Only then can we be assured that they will be placed in a position to contribute meaningfully to the future development of our country.
Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has expressed sadness at the loss of life and destruction of property in our Caribbean neighbors of St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Dominica. The islands have suffered the loss of life and destruction of property from flooding caused by a weather system that began affecting the region on Christmas Eve. In her message of condolence, the Prime Minister extended best wishes and the support of the government and people of Jamaica in the daunting task of cleanup, rehabilitation and reconstruction. Government has taken steps to fulfill another of its commitments under the Extended Fund Facility with the International Monetary Fund, the IMF. On Tuesday, Parliament approved amendments to the Civil Service Establishment General Order 2013, which was tabled in the lower house last week. Minister with responsibility for the public service, Horace Daly, says the changes to established posts, salaries, and abolished posts are among the strategies to reduce the country's wage to GDP ratio to 9% by financial year 2016-2017. Among other things, 130 new posts were created and 69 upgraded, while new salary scales were created for education officers, health groups, and infirmary administration personnel. 51 posts across several ministries and departments were also abolished.
And while the removal of posts don't really reduce your wage bill, if the posts are there not being used, there's a likelihood that they can be used. And therefore, in agreement with the ministries, departments, and agencies, we have agreed to remove these posts which have been inactive for many years.
As of next week, Thursday, persons can register their collateral, including non-traditional assets, with the Security Interests in Personal Property SIPP registry. The company's Office of Jamaica will host the SIPP registry, through which persons may register assets being tendered as collateral for securing loans under the SIPP Act. These include intellectual property, motor vehicles, stocks and securities, and agricultural products, crops and machinery.
The registry forms part of the secure transactions framework designed to modernize and improve commerce by expanding access to domestic credit while at the same time minimizing the risks of loan default.
The new business registration form, more popularly known as the Super Form, will also become available next Thursday.
With the introduction of the Super Form, you save time and cost, as the incorporation of a company or the registration of a business name will require only one trip, that is, to the company's office. It therefore eliminates the need to visit multiple agencies to process a TRN, NIS number, GCT, and NHT requirements, or to procure clearance letters.
And finally, the Golden Spring community has partnered with the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, to reconstruct and upgrade their health center. A $35.4 million contract was signed recently to facilitate the start of work. The majority of the funding is provided by the Caribbean Development Bank, while the community is contributing $4.3 million in cash or kind. Health Minister Dr. Fenton Ferguson praised JSIF and the residents for taking the initiative. The Social Investment Fund's managing director said the project complemented government's policy to strengthen the primary healthcare system and lessen the burden placed on hospitals across the island.
This project will have far-reaching effects on improving the Southeast Regional Health Authority's capacity to provide optimum care to Golden Spring and surrounding communities.
The health center will be upgraded to a Type 2 facility and benefit over 4,000 users monthly. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Samantha Allen. Thanks for watching.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas for me.
My encouragement to parents this Christmas is have a very Merry Christmas, but make it a family Christmas.
And this Christmas will be a very special Christmas.
It was a body-rocking occasion as Jamaica's cultural expressions came alive during a tribute to the late icon Nelson Mandela. Here are the highlights.
Tata Madiba, Tata Madiba.
It was an evening of cultural expressions as Jamaicans from all walks of life gathered to celebrate the life of a freedom fighter extraordinaire and a statesman of impeccable character, the late Nelson Madiba Mandela. After spending some 27 years in prison for his fight against apartheid, Mandela became the first black president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. And with Jamaica and South Africa establishing diplomatic relations on September 9, 1994, it was only fitting that Jamaica paid tribute to the icon, showing commitment to South Africa while keeping Mandela's legacy alive. Events included a 5-day period of mourning, signing of a condolence book, a joint sitting of Parliament, a memorial service, and the climax, an evening of artistic celebration, free of cost to the public at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center. From the young,
I'm having fun,
to the not so young.
I love Mandela so much. I even tell my son that if I did have money, I would reach Africa at his funeral.
The artistic extravaganza at the Ranny Williams Entertainment Center in honor of the late Nelson Mandela was an event to remember, one for the video archives if you wish. The Lakatka drummers kicked off the evening celebration, which was organized by the Ministry of Youth and Culture, produced by the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission JCDC, and sponsored by Digicel.
The purpose of this concert is to give Jamaicans an opportunity to share in Mandela's life and to feel a part of our collective responsibility for going forward to protect that legacy and to feel a part of sharing in their awareness that Jamaica played such an integral role in the freedom of South Africa.
The artists, they're all here, supporting and paying tribute in through their various forms of talents, and the persons have come out, to see those talents on display this evening.
Nelson Mandela fight for human rights and the upliftment of the people. We tell area, he love the most high king. We know in a no fighting and just love I bring. Even for the foes I sing. Fear is still a cry, crying, me crying every day. Mandela crying out for justice every day. What we say, Babylon, you throne gone down, gone down. Babylon, you throne gone down.
The spoken word was just as effective in hailing Mandela as a true hero.
Mr. Mandela speaks to me. For a revolution, my daughter, is not a question of pulling a trigger. Its purpose is to create a fair and just society.
We need some heroes. For we're tired and vexed and broken-hearted, our tropical paradise long departed. Ton rudderless ship assail in a tsunami. Need some heroes to steer the vessel and calm we.
I let Jack the kid away, go say for Ricky say. I pray, I said no lead and no know them. I guess the whole of them gone. We miss Nelson Mandela. We miss Mandela.
I'm just here to have fun.
To celebrate Nelson Mandela's life and works.
To see, what he has done, the work that he has done, and hear about new things and how we can, how he has impacted a lot of people.
I think the world of him. He is a leader. He has done so much for the world. He has made it a better place.
I think he's a major part in Jamaica's culture and history.
On his release from prison in 1990, he said, "I stand before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people."
It was Nelson Mandela who also said, "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart." So quite appropriately, the sounds from Africa penetrated the airwaves.
Elele Motire, Elele Motire, the Pamalakosi.
Speaking of different languages, how could we forget the group with a difference?
Unrest. And one more time, another system is put to the test.
Take it down low. 27 years, they lock Mandela in a jail.
Now, Nelson Mandela suffered great hardship, but amidst the pain, he captivated audiences worldwide with that intoxicating ear-to-ear grin. As Chronics pointed out, he always found reasons to showcase that tantalizing smile. Jamaicans were asked to take a page out of Mandela's book.
And I said, smile, smile for me, Jamaica. Oh, I said, smile. Whoa, 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 smile for me, Jamaica. Mandela, Mandela, say Mandela, Mandela.
I'm really proud of him and what he has done, the pace that he has set for us, and that legacy that he left behind. So I hope that we will continue to do that fight, not with stick and stones, but just stand up for ourselves as black people.
I'm proud to be black, I'm black to be proud. Marcus Garvey lead out 10 million black. I'm proud to be black, and I'm black to be. Now if you're proud, just shout it out loud. Sing the chorus, the black like a star. Black and my proud, you've got to know who you are.
Nelson Mandela is a personality that is larger than life. He impacted not only South Africa, but he impacted the world.
Thank you, Mr. Mandela. You are one great brother. God bless Mr. Mandela. Love and respect forever. Thank you, Mr. Mandela. You are one great brother. God bless you, Mr. Mandela. Love and respect
Break it down.
Due to the hustle and bustle of the holiday season, motorists often encounter difficulties on our roads. But life would be so much easier if we all abide by the rules. Here are some reminders.
Road fatalities occur way too often, and more often than not, they happen because of a failure to obey the rules of the road.
Because of incorrect driving, road infringement, persons failing to apply the road code, approximately 57% of all road accidents and fatalities are caused by this incorrect driving.
Speeding, reckless overtaking, drinking and driving, and the failure to obey traffic lights and stop signs are some of the most common road infractions. Infractions that lead to collisions. But the law is clear. From established speed limits to guidelines on how to overtake, the regulations are spelled out. The speed limit for road users depends on whether the roads are in built-up areas near schools or on highways. For school zones, it's 30 kilometers per hour, 50 kilometers in built-up areas, 70 kilometers per hour on main roads, 80 kilometers on minor highways, and 110 kilometers on Highway 2000. Drinking and driving do not go together. The presence of alcohol in a driver's system is likely to affect his or her ability to make sensible decisions or even respond quickly and appropriately. So if you drive, avoid drinking altogether. And as it regards overtaking, the rules are also clear. Overtake only if the unbroken white line is on your side of the road, and you should only overtake on the right side. In addition to following those basic rules, before you overtake, ask yourself these questions.
Does it make sense? Is it safe? And is it legal? Because you see, a lot of times, even though the overtake may be legal, it doesn't make any sense. It's not necessary. So overtaking is one of the major causes of accidents. It exposes one to head-on collisions. It exposes one to crashes. So we really need to explore all the areas. Is it safe? Does it make sense? And is it legal?
Drivers of motor vehicles and motorcycles need to be licensed. Driver's licenses are issued only after the applicants are tested and proven competent to handle a vehicle. The process begins with an application.
You take 3 photographs signed by Justice of the Peace, a learner's license, examination fee receipt, and an application form filled out by yourself and the Justice of the Peace. Take it to the depot, arrange for appointment, and on an appointment date, you are required to do a written test and a yard test. If you are successful with the yard test, you are taken on the road to do a driving test.
People who drive without a valid license are guilty of an offense and risk prosecution by the police. It's also imperative for drivers to ensure their vehicles are roadworthy. Periodic inspections are done to test their suitability for the road.
We check for electrical components that they're all working, like headlights, brake lights, park lights, indicators. Mechanically, your front end must be sound, brakes must be in proper working condition. That's park brake and service brake. Tires are in good working order, not showing any form of defects. And the body condition must be fairly good condition.
The inspection process differs depending on the type of vehicle and its intended purpose. Trucks, for example, have to be measured and also weighed in all dimensions to ensure they operate within the confines of the law. Pedestrians, drivers, and motorcyclists should all follow these general rules in order to minimize chaos while on our roadways. The authorities have been vigilant, and there are penalties for breaches. The police and the island's traffic authority do random inspections island-wide to identify those who fail to keep their vehicles roadworthy.
What emerges as areas of defects are defective steering, defective brake, defective exhaust system, defective tires. Those four in particular seem to be very prominent. Motorists have to come to grips with the fact that they have a responsibility to ensure the fitness of their vehicles, to ensure the mechanical soundness of their vehicles that are used to ply the roadways. And this is entrenched in law.
The law also spells out the consequences for those who disobey the rules of the road. Offenders could go to prison, pay huge fines, or lose points of their licenses.
When you use the road, you need to be aware of how your action affects others.
I go around the corner. Only to see a man stopping on the big road. But some people are crossing on a blind corner.
When motorists have to stop on the green light to allow people to cross, it creates problems.
People just can't walk out on the road, so man. From a corner, from behind vehicle, they need to be more careful, man.
We have overhead bridges, pedestrian crossings, and crosswalks. Some of them even have signals to tell you when to cross.
People, walk on the sidewalk. If there is none, walk on the right side. And please, if you can't find a pedestrian crossing, make sure the road clear before you cross.
Here are some other tips to keep in mind. Drivers, don't use your cell phones or other electronic devices while driving. If you have to take a call, use a hands-free device or pull off the road safely. Pedestrians always walk towards oncoming vehicles and stay alert at all times and avoid unsafe conditions.
It's still the time to let your hair down and party like there is no tomorrow. But just a gentle reminder, there is, in fact, a tomorrow. And what you do today may have repercussions. The do's and don'ts of holiday parties next.
It's the holiday season, and with it comes company parties. Common sense should dictate what not to do at a Christmas social. But unfortunately, when alcohol is involved, common sense seems to go right out the window. Whether you are the employee or attending one of these parties with someone who is, it is always best to know what should not be done at one of these functions.
Maintenance of decorum, proper decorum. We are ladies, and therefore the most important thing is to behave like a lady at all times. Be aware of what you should and should not say. I think what you mustn't do is be worried about the fact that you may not know. All you do is watch, look at how someone else is holding their glass, look at how someone else is using their knife and fork. So just watch. And follow.
Chief State Protocol Advisor Ambassador Eleanor Sherlock says exhibiting professionalism and personal decorum at social events will form part of how that person is perceived. Remember always, you are surrounded by others.
I don't like when there is a lack of decorum, when you dance too close or it gets too familiar, because the following day or thereafter you have to interact, you have to work with a person, you have to look in that person's face. Therefore, the level of decorum should be maintained.
As a star artist, some level of professionalism should still be upheld, because at the end of the day, the next day or the next couple of days is work, and we still need to work in the same environment as school workers, and we don't want emotions and all them stuff there running up all over the place.
What really upset me the most at the Christmas party is when them start to drink and them start to misbehave and them have on some little short up things and start to misbehave. It really look bad for them.
When they overdrink and bouncing upon you like it is appropriate, and it's not, because then again you have to go back to work and work with them. They drink spill on you and mess you up. And that's not nice.
Functions or parties provide excellent networking opportunities. With this in mind, patrons or partygoers must be aware that a potential business partner or a prospective employer could be standing right next to you as you stagger around with a drink in hand, speak with food in your mouth, and badmouth the boss. Here are some of the most common mistakes people make. What is not yours, simply leave it alone. You will always be remembered for that outlandish outfit. Disregard the Jamaican notion of always being late. Though it's a delectable affair or there is a buffet line and an open bar, it's provided for everyone at the party.
There are some things which are just not to be said. And so gossiping and speaking ill of persons, speaking ill of your colleagues, and those are just absolute no-no. Especially if you're in the working world, how you behave is going to dictate where you end up. It's not from where you start, but how you behave.
Now that you are aware of the don'ts of party protocol, here are some pointers to ensure that you dance away from the event feeling professional and rewarded. Be informed of the company or person hosting the event. If you are a new employee, ensure that you are familiar with co-workers' posts, especially top-level members. If you are accompanying a friend to an event, do your own background research into the party hostess so you are not lost in the woods during conversations. Mix and mingle. Shed the shy girl or laid-back dude attitude and meet people. There may be a potential business partner or prospective employer inside the dance room. Walk with business cards. If you don't have the time to generate one, ensure that you have a pen and paper on you.
Reputation lost is never again regained, and one needs to have their personal dignity, and dignity comes with how you conduct yourself. And that's why I think it's important for decorum.
Clean, beautiful beaches and oceans have always been an important part of life. We can make a contribution whether we live on the shoreline or miles away.
As the new year approaches, we as adults need to place more emphasis on instilling positive values in our children to encourage good attitudes. Simple childhood obligations like cleaning one's shoes in the evenings and not on the morning of school can teach children the art of preparation while promoting responsibility. Have you ever wondered about the importance of scolding your child for taking something without asking? That will teach them not to steal. How about the lesson in context when children are told to wake up early and be on time for school? That way, they will learn to be punctual for their assignments. And if children are encouraged to play sports, they learn the value of teamwork, how to follow instructions, and accept defeat or victory in a gracious manner. Let's all commit to instilling positive values in our children as we seek to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business. And that's how we ended this Friday's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Hope you had a blast. Do remember to send your comments to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Follow us on Twitter at JISnews and visit our website, jis.gov.jm. On behalf of our production team, have yourselves a great weekend.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.